The year was 1974, and America was going through a time of major change. While headlines focused on politics and world events, the United States Mint quietly continued producing one of the nation's most recognizable coins, the Kennedy half-dollar. First introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination, the coin had already become a symbol of remembrance, patriotism, and American history. Today, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar remains a favorite among collectors, not only because of its historical significance but also because of the stories it carries. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by sculptor Gilroy Roberts. Kennedy's confident profile faces left, surrounded by the words Liberty. The year 1974 appears below the portrait, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is displayed beneath his neck. This elegant design has remained one of the most recognizable portraits ever used on a United States coin. On the reverse side is the presidential seal, created by Frank Gasparro. A majestic bald eagle spreads its wings while holding an olive branch and arrows, representing America's desire for peace while remaining prepared for defense. 13 stars surround the eagle, symbolizing the original 13 colonies, and the inscriptions United States of America and half-dollar complete the design. Unlike the original 1964 Kennedy half-dollar, which was struck in 90% silver, the 1974 version was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. By this time, rising silver prices had made precious metal coins too expensive for everyday circulation. Although it no longer contained silver, the coin maintained its attractive appearance and durability for daily use. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar was produced at 3 United States Mint facilities. Philadelphia struck coins without a mint mark, Denver produced coins with a D mint mark, and San Francisco created proof coins bearing an S mint mark for collectors. Millions of these coins were minted, making them relatively common today, but high-quality uncirculated examples and flawless proof coins continue to attract strong interest. Even though half-dollars were still legal tender, they were becoming increasingly uncommon in everyday commerce during the 1970s. Many Americans preferred quarters and dollar bills, causing half-dollars to circulate less frequently. As a result, many 1974 Kennedy half-dollars were saved in drawers, coin jars, and family collections rather than being heavily used. Collectors also enjoy searching for rare mint errors on 1974 Kennedy half-dollars. Coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other unusual minting mistakes can command significantly higher values than ordinary examples. A normal circulated 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is generally worth only its face value, while brilliant uncirculated pieces may sell for several dollars. Exceptional mint state examples and rare error coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and rarity. More than 50 years after it was minted, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar continues to connect collectors with an important chapter in American history. It reminds us of a beloved president, the changing economy of the 1970s, and the evolution of U.S. coinage. Whether you discover one in pocket change, inherit it from a family member, or add it to your collection, this coin represents much more than 50 cents. It is a lasting piece of American heritage, proving that every coin has a story waiting to be discovered. Next up, coin. The year was 1980, and the United States was entering a new decade filled with economic challenges and political change. During this time, the United States Mint continued producing the Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that had become a lasting tribute to President John F. Kennedy. Since its introduction in 1964, the Kennedy half-dollar had remained one of the most recognizable coins in America, honoring the nation's 35th president and preserving his legacy for future generations. Although it was no longer commonly seen in everyday transactions, the 1980 Kennedy half-dollar became an important collectible for coin enthusiasts. The obverse of the 1980 Kennedy half-dollar features the left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by chief engraver Gilroy Roberts. Above Kennedy's portrait appears the word Liberty, while the motto "In God We Trust" is displayed below his neck. The date 1980 is prominently shown at the bottom of the coin. Kennedy's detailed portrait reflects strength, dignity, and hope, making it one of the most admired designs in modern American coinage. The reverse side displays the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro. A powerful bald eagle spreads its wings while holding an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing America's commitment to peace and readiness to defend freedom. 13 stars surround the eagle, representing the original 13 colonies. Around the edge are the inscriptions United States of America and $50. Unlike the original 1964 Kennedy $50, which was struck in 90% silver, the 1980 version was produced using a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change had been made years earlier because the rising price of silver made precious metal coins too costly for regular circulation. The copper-nickel alloy provided durability while maintaining the familiar appearance of the coin. The 1980 Kennedy $50 was struck at 3 United States mint facilities. Philadelphia produced coins without a mint mark, Denver struck coins bearing the D mint mark, and San Francisco minted high-quality proof coins with the S mint mark specifically for collectors. Millions of examples were produced, making the coin widely available, but pristine uncirculated and proof specimens remain highly desirable today. Although the Kennedy $50 continued to be legal tender, it was rarely used in everyday commerce during the 1980s. Most Americans preferred using quarters or dollar bills, so many $50 were saved in coin collections, bankrolls, and family keepsakes. Because they circulated less frequently, many examples survived in excellent condition. Collectors enjoy searching for valuable varieties and mint errors on 1980 Kennedy $50. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, doubled dies, and other unusual minting errors can dramatically increase a coin's value. A typical circulated 1980 Kennedy $50 is usually worth its face value of 50 cents, while brilliant uncirculated coins often sell for several dollars. Rare mint state examples with exceptional grades or significant mint errors can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Today, the 1980 Kennedy $50 represents more than just 50 cents. It serves as a reminder of an important period in American history and continues the legacy of one of the nation's most respected presidents. Next up, coin. 1992, it remained a favorite among collectors, even though it was rarely seen in everyday circulation. The obverse of the 1992 Kennedy $50 features the left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Chief Engraver Gilroy Roberts. The word Liberty stretches across the top of the coin, while the national motto "In God We Trust" appears below Kennedy's portrait. The date 1992 is displayed at the bottom. Kennedy's portrait continues to represent hope, courage, and public service, making it one of the most admired coin designs in American history. The reverse side showcases the presidential seal, created by Frank Gasparro. A majestic bald eagle spreads its wings while holding an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, symbolizing America's commitment to peace and strength. 13 stars surround the eagle, representing the original 13 colonies. Around the edge are the inscriptions United States of America and $50. The 1992 Kennedy $50 was struck using a copper-nickel-clad composition bonded to a pure copper core. This durable metal combination had been standard since 1971, replacing the silver content found in earlier Kennedy $50. The coin has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, weighs 11.34 grams, and features a reeded edge. During 1992, Kennedy $50 were produced at 3 United States mint facilities. Philadelphia struck coins without a mint mark, Denver produced coins with the D mint mark, and San Francisco minted beautiful proof coins with the S mint mark for collectors. In addition, 1992 marked the beginning of special silver proof sets, which included Kennedy $50 struck in 90% silver. These collector-only silver coins are especially popular today because they marked the return of silver to the Kennedy $50 series in proof form. Although millions of 1992 Kennedy $50 were minted, they were rarely used in everyday commerce. Most Americans preferred quarters and paper dollar bills, causing $50 to remain mostly in bank vaults, coin rolls, and private collections. Because many were never heavily circulated, collectors can still find attractive examples in excellent condition. Collectors also search for valuable mint errors on 1992 Kennedy $50. Off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, and other unusual production mistakes can make a coin significantly more valuable. A regular circulated coin is generally worth its face value of 50 cents, while uncirculated examples often sell for several dollars. High-grade mint state coins, silver-proof issues, and rare error coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and condition. More than 3 decades after it was minted, the 1992 Kennedy half-dollar continues to be appreciated by collectors around the world. Whether found in a family collection, purchased from a coin dealer, or discovered in a proof set, this coin represents far more than its face value. It preserves the legacy of President John F. Kennedy and remains an enduring piece of American numismatic history, reminding collectors that every coin carries a story worth preserving. Next up, coin. 1973, and America was experiencing a time of economic uncertainty and political change. Amid these historic events, the United States Mint continued producing the Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that had quickly become a national symbol of remembrance and pride. First introduced in 1964 after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the Kennedy half-dollar honored one of the nation's most admired leaders. By 1973, the coin remained an important part of American coinage, even though it was becoming less common in everyday circulation. The obverse of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar features the left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, created by chief engraver Gilroy Roberts. The word Liberty appears across the top of the coin, while the national motto "In God We Trust" is placed below Kennedy's portrait. The date 1973 is displayed at the bottom. Kennedy's detailed portrait continues to symbolize leadership, courage, and hope, making it one of the most recognizable images in United States coin history. The reverse side features the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro. A bold bald eagle spreads its wings while holding an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, representing America's commitment to peace and strength. 13 stars surround the eagle, honoring the original 13 colonies. The inscriptions "United States of America" and half-dollar complete the design around the edge. Unlike the original 1964 Kennedy half-dollar, which contained 90% silver, the 1973 version was struck using a copper-nickel clad composition bonded to a pure copper core. This change had been introduced after silver prices increased dramatically, making precious metal coins too expensive for regular circulation. The clad composition gave the coin excellent durability while maintaining its familiar appearance. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was produced at 3 United States Mint facilities. Philadelphia struck coins without a mint mark, Denver produced coins bearing the D mint mark, and San Francisco minted proof coins with the S mint mark specifically for collectors. Millions of examples were produced, making the 1973 issue relatively common, but high-grade uncirculated and proof coins remain popular with collectors today. Although the coin was still legal tender, Americans rarely used half-dollars in everyday transactions. Most people preferred quarters or dollar bills, causing many Kennedy half-dollars to remain in bank vaults, coin rolls, and private collections. Because of this limited circulation, many 1973 examples survived in excellent condition. Collectors also search for valuable mint errors on the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other unusual minting mistakes can make these coins far more valuable than their face value. A typical circulated 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth 50 cents, while uncirculated examples often sell for several dollars. Rare mint state coins and dramatic error coins can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity and condition. More than 50 years after it was minted, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar next up coin. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar features the left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by chief engraver Gilroy Roberts. Above the portrait is the word Liberty, while the national motto "In God We Trust" appears below Kennedy's neck. The date 1972 is displayed at the bottom. Kennedy's portrait reflects dignity, leadership, and optimism, making it one of the most admired designs in modern American coinage. The reverse side displays the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro. A majestic bald eagle spreads its wings while holding an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, symbolizing America's commitment to both peace and strength. 13 stars surround the eagle, representing the original 13 colonies. The inscriptions United States of America and $50 encircle the design, creating a bold and patriotic appearance. By 1972, the Kennedy $50 was struck using a copper-nickel clad composition bonded to a pure copper core. Earlier Kennedy $50 contained silver, but rising silver prices led the United States Mint to adopt the more affordable clad metal beginning in 1971. Although $50 were still legal tender, they were no longer widely used in everyday commerce. Americans increasingly relied on quarters and paper dollar bills, so many Kennedy $50 stayed in bank vaults, coin rolls, and personal collections. Because they saw little circulation, many 1972 coins remain in excellent condition today. Collectors also search for mint errors on 1972 Kennedy $50. Coins showing doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other unusual minting mistakes can be worth much more than ordinary examples. A circulated 1972 Kennedy $50 is generally worth its face value of 50 cents, while brilliant uncirculated examples often sell for several dollars. High-grade mint state coins and rare error varieties can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity and condition. Today, more than 50 years after it was minted, the 1972 Kennedy $50 remains an important part of American numismatic history. It preserves the memory of President John F. Kennedy while reflecting the changes in United States coinage during the early 1970s. Whether found in a coin collection, inherited from a family member, or discovered in a bankroll, the 1972 Kennedy $50 continues to capture the interest of collectors and serves as a lasting reminder that every coin tells a story.